What I wanted to talk to you about this morning, I'm not setting myself up as an expert in this particular field, but I hope you find the tip interesting and beneficial. And it's really on how to engage with clients and engage in such a way that you deal with clients on an ongoing basis and end up conducting more business with the people that you meet. It's fair to say that as we're all in business, that we're all trying to sell something, aren't we? We're trying to sell a service, we're trying to sell a product. Sorry? Apart from Rod. But mainly we're trying to sell ourselves, and sometimes life gets in the way. So the first tip I'd say to you is be very conscious of your state of mind before you go into a meeting. Sometimes you have problems in life, and those can manifest themselves in the way that you treat and speak to your clients sat in front of you. Your problems are not their problems. Leave those problems at the door. Apparently that our brain has mirror neurons. So if you go into a meeting with a particular attitude, that attitude will mirror to the clients, and it will have a negative effect. If you don't go into that meeting with a positive state of mind, then it will be a negative meeting and you'll end up with negative results. In fact, they reckon that 30% of our brain's neurons are mirror neurons. The other thing is, there are 3 levels of listening, and the scientists have very, very creatively named these: level 1, level 2, and level 3. Now, level 1, you're not actually listening. Yeah, like Mark, point in case. Level 2, you're listening, but you're really trying to look and identify a solution. Level 3, you are genuinely listening and engaging with that prospect or client. Now, what I would suggest to you, if I may, is when you go into a meeting, the mistake a lot of people make is they've gone in with preconceived ideas. They've gone in with an objective in mind. And what I think you need to do is go into the meeting and focus on what it is that that client wants out of the meeting, out of the relationship. What are the outcomes that they require? If you go in with a particular objective in mind, you're not necessarily satisfying what their needs and requirements are. IBM carried out some extensive research on this, and they found that people who, if you say customers being level 1, that 80% of those people are simply product pushers. And we're now in the 21st century, and I think we'd all agree, we don't necessarily like dealing with people that are product pushers. People at level 2, 15% of those were people who were going to provide solutions, and only 5% of the people that were made up this survey were thought to be trusted advisors and had the client's objectives at heart. And it's very, very important, because the outcome of that is the people at level 1, the clients said that they had very low trust of that person and they were only interested in their own objectives. Level 2, the clients felt that salesperson or the business person didn't have their objectives at heart, and so there was no real ongoing trust. But number 3 were classed as being collaborative. They had their clients' interests at heart, they could collaborate with them, they'd built good rapport, and they could be trusted. And the outcome of that is that it led to more value-added sales and a long-term relationship. Now, one of the problems that people make in business is we spend time, effort on marketing, trying to generate new business, bringing new clients on board. And in fact, a lot of the people will understand in the room, it's easier to sell more to the people that you already know. It's professional, it's cost effective, and it will help you gather referrals, and it will have a beneficial effect on your business sales mushrooming. What a great question that I found when I'm actually sat with a client, a really simple, open question, but ask them, what is important to you? You may feel you're sat with a client and you may see a particular problem that needs a solution, but until you actually satisfy what their main objective is, you're not going to get to that second point. You satisfy the first objective and the rest will naturally follow.
You don't want to ask Rod what's important, it'll take ages.
No, absolutely. But that is the problem. A lot of people walk into a meeting with a preconceived agenda. Yeah, absolutely. And as I said, if you've gone in here with a negative state of mind, you've got an agenda, you may make a sale out of it, don't get me wrong, but that's probably it. That's the end of that relationship. And I have been honest with you, and I've been probably guilty of this in the past when we had very much what's classified as a transactional type business. Since we changed our business model, we're looking to engage with particular types of clients. I no longer have that approach. We genuinely listen and find out what the client's objectives are, and as a result of that, we've got very long-standing relationships with some of our clients, which is what we want. Another big variable in this is actually, I've talked about our state of mind when we go into a meeting, but what about the client's state of mind? Their state of mind may not necessarily be matching yours, and you've got to be somewhat of a chameleon, and you need to get onto their particular level. Don't talk jargon. Try and find out what state of mind they're in, and deal with them on that same level. The other thing I think that people make a mistake is industry experience. Forget the industry experience when you walk into the room. Of course, you need the industry experience, but a lot of people will try and apply that in the wrong way, and they'll end up not actually gelling with the client. A big mistake that we can make in our industry is a lot of people I've seen on my side of the fence talk to people in technical jargon. Well, that's not good. They don't understand it. It's not necessary, and you've alienated yourself.
Your compliance issues make that happen as well. I know that talking to my financial advisor is, even though he's a very nice chap, it's very difficult because it's still so complicated. I don't know where I am.
I can't understand mine because of the accent.
No, it depends. It depends whom you're speaking to. If you're speaking to someone within the industry, of course you can speak in those terms. If you're speaking from somebody outside of the industry, don't speak in those terms. And that's the thing about being a comedian. Get yourself onto the same level that they are. Don't make them feel awkward. Don't make them feel stupid because they're not. I'm going to give you a couple of, I don't know how I'm doing on time. I know I'm conscious of time. Yeah. I'm going to leave you with a couple of good tips. And this has worked really well for somebody I know in business. He always confirms his appointments, time willing, in writing. Now that can be a letter or it can be an email. When he sends the letter of confirmation out, confirming the appointment, he asks one of two questions. He says to them, what would help you appreciate the value of our time together? Or he asks them, what questions would you like to see covered at our meeting? So they tell him in advance what it is that they want to talk about. So he goes into that meeting already prepared to give the answers that the client wants or solutions to the problems that the client has perceptions of. Then he can open up and he can search and find other problems that the client may not have found out about. And it just saves an awful lot of time, makes him look professional, and helps him target the right responses to the meeting. I think just in finishing, what I would suggest, I mentioned earlier about industry experience, and I think what that does is, as you become ingrained in a particular industry or profession, that you listen to people through professional filters, and I think that's wrong. What you need to do is you need that professional knowledge, but don't necessarily jump on solutions that you've thought of. What you should be doing is listening out for the perceived problems that the client thinks they have, listen, engage with them, and solve those problems. That way you'll end up with a long-standing, meaningful, and commercially viable relationship, which is what we're in business to establish.